And good morning. You're flying the very friendly, unfriendly skies with Tironan, where every other person wants to kill you repeatedly. Yes, we celebrate our photonic deaths and victories here. All right. Today we have a very different aircraft, don't we? This is the German Messerschmitt 10 P.1092, which in the German nomenclature of the time was meant that it was their project, and only existed in the minds of Willie Messerschmitt and his design team. So there is no history to talk about. Doesn't have any famous anything, and that's basically it. When it comes down to how this aircraft performs, um, well, there's a reason why I have not shown this before, because until it gets the gun upgrade, it is a miserable aircraft. Once it gets the upgrade, it becomes something much different. Now, one thing about this aircraft is you don't count on it for speed, but it surprisingly has quite a bit of altitude capability, equal to the Fury, though it never gets quite as fast as the Fury. Nor does it turn any better than the Fury. It's a 10-second turn time performer, and there are some of the Soviet fighters that do far better. 9 second anyway. Some of the Japanese fighters do 9-second turn times. But this thing has a pair of quad of the Mauser 213Cs, which the prototype was taken to the United States and other countries, 5 other countries, and was turned into the M39, the Aden, the Difa, the Orkalon. The Orkalon cannons also use this, and Sweden developed a rotary cannon called the KCA. Of all the guns that I mentioned, the most vicious by far is the Swedish KCA. Why do I know this? Because they use the same shell on the A-10 Warthog and put it in a Gatling gun. That gives you an idea just how ferocious it is. Now this thing turns very well. It's got a 26, 25, and 200 rounds, 200 DPS per gun, and it has four, which makes it better in firepower than just about any gun in here for range and hitting power, with the exception of the Starfire that I've flown, which has the wonderful, and I do mean wonderful, M61 Vulcan on it with a 20 millimeter, and it pretty much matches that. And you notice I'm having a terrible time getting away from this attacker. And that goes out to its, when you first get it, it's got 11-second turn time, and then it goes down to 10. It's not the most fun aircraft in the world in that regard. But it's got good altitude capability, it's got good reach on the guns. That makes up for a lot of the problems you have with speed. Now you're not going to be chasing down Starfires unless they do something stupid, but or ME262 HG2s, boom and zoomers are still going to give you some trouble if they catch you unaware. But like, so the same thing can be said about the turn and burns that get behind you. I mean, you know, so it's not the second coming of the F-22. It's just a darn good jet and a lot of fun to fly. Now, getting the cannons wasn't nearly so much fun, but I will tell you that once you get the cannons, you're going to be a pretty happy camper. And if we have somebody run in that you can actually actually see the effect of this. And you'll notice that the, what is it, 228? Yeah, it's not having a whole lot of fun. This is a darn handy little plane.
You cannot leave the airfield in the enemy's hands.
And instead of running around, this guy is turning. So we'll take advantage of that. Alright, coming back around. Boom. Easy to use. Come on, baby. There we go. Now it does overheat a little quicker, but it does give you an additional 20 damage per gun over the M39s and the Mark 12s. And I'll take another 80 DPS for a little heat. It also cools down fairly rapidly. So this is a blip gun, really. You blip, 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 and you eventually kill your target. One, two, three aircraft chasing one of ours. I probably should just give this one up and not try to save the aircraft. But I can't. And the Yak-19 takes some damage there. The second one has entered the fight, but got shot down by somebody else, so we will jump in on this one. And we're beset again. See if we can get ourselves out of this. There we go. All in all, with the gun upgrades, I like this fighter. You're going to enjoy it too. Okay, let's see what we did. Okay, let's see what we got here. We killed 6 aerial targets. We assisted with 4 more. Critical damage on 7. Capture sectors 1. Was destroyed once. We got 4,000 experience out of this and 12,324 aircraft experience out of this. Completed the side support mission, and we're working on more points. See what the summary is on this. And team score. All right. Our high flyer here was a bot, George, and Godwin too. On their side, it was Joe Larg, 45 of Falco. Did a good job. South American team. They have a clan on World of Warships as well. I've played against them and played with them, practiced against them. Good guys. All right, so we have the P.1096. This was a paper study by Messerschmitt, and it was one of about 5 aircraft that was done all on paper. Not so much as a piece of sheet metal was ever bent to construct them. And now you know everything about them that anybody else does, because all that's left are with some of the designs. They were supposed to come in right around 560 miles per hour. You know, a lot of aircraft that on paper are supposed to do a lot of things. I don't know what it would have actually done had it been built. So it goes into the realm of fantasy, but it gives World of Warplanes something to stick in there. From your standpoint, let's talk about the upgrades here. This is how you're going to get the aircraft, of course. This is just a purchase. You don't have to do anything to get these. This you have to buy. So why haven't you seen this before now? Because it wasn't ready to show. Those of you who have flown the various Bf-109s and the other German aircraft with the Me-151/20 was not a very good cannon as it's put here. It does okay at the lower tiers, though I found it rather unsatisfactory even then. I preferred my machine guns, to be honest. That changes with this. And this is the MG 213C, and that is the basis that you've heard me discuss this I don't know how many times, but for those of you who are new, this is the basis of the M39, the Aden and Difa cannons, the Swiss Orcolon, the KCA. I should say the Swedish KCA, except that was a giant 30mm round that's now found on a Gatling gun on a little-known aircraft called the A-10 Warthog Lightning II. Yeah, that one. That's a Gatling gun, by the way, not a revolver cannon like these are. And just like those, if the Germans had continued with the development of that, they'd have been finished about 1952, because that's what it took. 5 excellent countries with long firearms manufacturing histories to be able to to actually produce this cannon with the prototypes and designs right in front of them. And these cannons do 200 damage per second as opposed to the 180 you see on the U.S. aircraft, because it's German, I guess. Don't get me explaining these things. I don't know. The aircraft's one has got a couple of shortfalls. One that can be addressed right here. And when you get this, you get a 10-second turn time, which is going to help you some. And I'm about 6,000 points away, almost exactly, actually. And then you're going to want to continue down the engine line. Now, if you want to make this as miserable as possible on yourself, don't get the guns first. Go ahead and go get something else. All right. And you'll drop down to 440 DPS of rapidly overheating 20 millimeters with so-so range and so-so damage. So what I am telling you is, if you want to maintain your sanity, not be ripping your hair off, do just what I did here. You get your engines, because those are essentially just silver. You get lots of silver around here. And dump all your development points here first, because this is a totally different aircraft, just like it was on the XF5U. When you get these, it changes your outlook on the entire deal, because you got so much range on it that nobody's really outranging you, and the sheer amount of damage you're putting out is equal than or better than just about everybody except the ME-262s. And even they, for the most part, are going to trade you. You're going to get to inflict a lot of damage on them before they get within range to hurt you. 625 yards about. Then you're going to, the other shortcoming is the speed. Right now I'm doing 509, and you may have noticed I was really struggling to stay up with other aircrafts. The next engine upgrade will bring you to 522, and the one after that will bring you up to 547. Now, mind you, there's aircraft that are pushing 600 miles an hour pretty hard, so that's kind of going to be endemic with it. But it's going to keep you up with the Furies and the MiGs. And so that should balance out pretty well for you, I would think. Where you're going to have issues are in the on the speed. You've really got everything else you need. There are a few things out there that can outturn you. The attacker will stay with you, as you saw in that video. But he can't escape you either if you get on his tail. So that's kind of going to balance out. He's a little faster than you are. 30-40 miles an hour. The altitude on it is just simply excellent. This is an aircraft as a turn and burn. Not quite fast enough for my taste, but other than that, I've got not a complaint one about it once you get this gun. Okay, I'm telling you, you're going to have to suffer through the 50,000 points that it takes to get this gun. It's just entry stakes for getting into it. After that, you should be one happy camper. I'm certainly enjoying this aircraft a lot. I think you will enjoy this aircraft a lot. And that's going to wrap this one up for today. Listen, I want to thank you for spending some time with me today. I want to, if you like the video, please, by all means, hit the like button. If you would like to subscribe, I need all the subscribers I can get. Thank you for flying Tironan's very unfriendly skies, and we'll see you tomorrow.